What is going on, everybody? It is a glorious, glorious Sunday. The Bills are back, and they return with a bang, if you want to call it. Of course, our hearts are racing. Some of us may need a little bit of, I don't know, whatever that the Bills put us in. We need medicine or whatever. But the whole point is, man, week 1, we got the win. We'll take it. It wasn't always pretty, but 1-0. That's how we start. But I have my amigos with me to start the show tonight. Clayton Garrett, what is up? How you feeling?
What's going on? A win's a win. It was an ugly win, but a win's a win nonetheless. I'm looking forward to the Giants next week. And I was glad to beat the Jets. I cannot stand when we lose the Jets, so I was happy to win today.
Well, I know one guy that probably in your upper left-hand corner I would agree with anything that's green. I don't think he likes it but money. Yeah? Hey, he may even hate money at times. Fred Kilbart, what's going on?
Not much. Hey, you know what time it is, right? Well, we got a victory,
That's
so
right. Anytime the Bills win, you guys know the routine. Fred Kilbart put the bucket hat on.
Yes, sir.
That is a win. Wow.
Boy, what a game. I mean, it was like a tale of two games. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I talked to the fellas in the chat. I'm like, at halftime, it's a wrap. This is over. I mean, I can't believe we're playing like this. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if McDermott went in the locker room, kicked everybody in the butt, but they came back out, and they were a totally different team. The defense was unbelievable, and the offense just needed to get in gear and get going. And second half, they did it. So great game today for the Bills.
Most definitely, most definitely. This team came out ready to play. On the defensive side, about the offensive side struggled for the first half of the game, but it wasn't like the slow start they had last year, where it was literally nothing for a whole half or 3 quarters. They had spurts, but the turnovers, my God, the turnovers just killed us in the first half. Fred, have you ever seen a turnover game that bad?
Actually, as a Bills fan, I have, and we're not going to bring up his name, but it was a couple years ago when he got put in there to start. But we won't bring his name up. No, I don't think a lot of this was necessarily Josh Allen's fault. I see the team was in a rhythm, and then they come off the edge, the first forced fumble there, and then the freak of the interception there, it bounced off his thigh pad. But the kid bounced back. He didn't let the turnovers get to him. He stayed composed. I mean, you could definitely see the kid matured a little bit. And I mean, you're going to have turnovers in the games. Just luckily that the turnovers didn't affect the outcome for the Bills. So I mean, they had to work a little bit harder, but we got the W, so that's all that matters.
Clayton?
I mean, yeah, JT, you touched on it at the start of your point, but the offense was moving the ball. They were moving the ball with consistency. It was just near the end of the drive, they would stall out, or a couple bad passes or a run play would get stuffed. They were moving the ball. They were moving the chains with consistency, but that one pad penalty on John Feliciano toward the end of, I think it was either the third or fourth drive, that would have resulted in a field goal attempt. It got taken away by a penalty, an unsportsmanlike penalty. It was just some sloppy play and a few unlucky bounces that led to a very disgusting and sloppy first half of offensive play.
No, I agree. There is one game that I can really think of that comes to mind that we actually had a turnover like this and that we actually ended up winning that game. And that game was, I think it was around 1991. We went to New Orleans, and Jim Kelly threw, I think it was either 4 or 5 first half interceptions. You probably remember that game, Fred Kilbart.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think I do remember that one.
We actually came back and won that game. So, I don't know, man. I mean, one thing I'll say, man, is Josh Allen. This guy's resilient, and we said that since last year. We called him the farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We called him the farmer because nothing seems to bother him. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. And like I said, maybe that's because he's not from a USC, all puns intended. Maybe because he's from Wyoming. He didn't have the D1 offers coming out of high school. He had to go to JUCO, and he only got one D1 offer after 2 years of JUCO. So I just think that it's a situation where this guy, man, he doesn't crack.
I think the thing with Josh Allen is that, he really wants to be great. He wants to be a great quarterback in the NFL, and he's putting in the work. He's putting in the time. I mean, to see this young quarterback, turn the ball over 4 times, and everyone knows, I mean, as Bills fans, I guarantee everyone was like, this game's over. Josh Allen ain't what we thought he was. But he, like I said, he kept his composure. They continued with the game plan. The defense started forcing more pressure on Sam Darnold. So I think it was a team effort. I just think that this team, we talked about it last year, this team wants to play for McDermott. And they proved it today. And I remember in the early 90s when the Bills went to the first playoff game and they ended up losing to Cleveland. That following year, they were finding ways to win games that they were losing the year before by 2 points or 3 points. This could be the start of that. I mean, coming out and winning this game on the road for Josh Allen, it's huge, considering he was 1 for 5 last year on the road. So for him to go into a hostile environment, force 4 turnovers, and still come out with the W, that's a big thing for this kid. That's a big thing for the Bills. This
hostile?
Could be
What do you mean hostile? There's nothing hostile about MetLife Stadium against the Jets. It's not even their stadium. They share it. Come on. And they're called the New York Jets. We're the only team in New York. That's nothing hostile. That's a home game. Let's just be honest. It's been a home game since the early 90s. That's a home game. Through a short stint through Bill Parcells, wherever the Jets were sharing the stadium with the Giants wasn't a home game. But that's a home game for us, man.
But still, he's on the road, 4 turnovers for a young quarterback. A lot of these quarterbacks would have folded up right then and there. But no, he kept moving on, kept going.
No. What do you got, Clee? I mean, what are you seeing from Josh Allen, man?
I liked his resiliency toward the second half of the game. You could see him on the sideline sometimes just getting frustrated. You saw him throw the iPad a couple times. But he really stuck with it, and he showed great poise, and he looked good in the second half of play. I mean, typically you see these quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen it for years where these quarterbacks come in, they have a bad first half, and they just start to crumble, and they fall apart, and they're useless the rest of the game. Josh Allen didn't do that. He kept his composure. He stayed poised. He came back in the second half and led to a comeback victory. And that's the thing is with Josh Allen, I never felt like we were out of this game. I never felt like, even after the safety, even after the pick six, I never felt like we were out of this game. Every time he stepped foot on the field, I felt like he could do something with that drive or something positive come out of that series. I thought Josh Allen looked great today. Hopefully next week it's not as close and we don't have to come back and the offense comes out and firing on all cylinders. But a win's a win nonetheless, and I like to see the comeback. He had 3 or 4 fourth quarter comebacks last year. I know he led all the NFL in comebacks last season.
Yeah, and you can add another one.
Just another one to add to his resume. Yeah, got another one added to his resume today.
I think he only had 3 last year, to be honest with you, if I'm not mistaken.
He had 3.
But like I said, that's great for him. I mean, this is big. This team has got to be pumped up, knowing that they're going to go back down to this stadium next week. After getting a victory like they did on the road at that stadium, knowing that you're coming back there, you're going to be in the same locker room. You know what I mean? So hopefully we get the same W, but hopefully we play a little better.
No, I agree. I mean, I just think that just the guy, he doesn't crack. He really doesn't. I mean, today what I saw from a Josh Allen is I saw a Josh Allen who was more accurate than he was last year. Definitely more confident. The confidence was oozing. And it wasn't just oozing with him. It was oozing this entire team. But so many times during the Tyrod Taylor era, and I was never against Tyrod, but we would say that when the team got down to this type of game, you got down 15, you got down 2 scores, you got down 10, whatever, he was sitting on the sideline. I wouldn't say he moped. I think people over-exaggerate that. But he didn't do anything to boost his guys up. And you see Josh consistently boosting his guys up. Consistently telling them, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's a lot of Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, if you believe that or not. It's a lot of Sean McDermott and Josh Allen because you never see Sean McDermott crack as well. Never. And I just think that's leadership. It's so much leadership. And his counterpart, Sam Darnold, I think we saw where we thought Sam Darnold was. I don't think Sam Darnold's ever going to be a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of quarterback in NFL. I really don't. And today I think it showed. I didn't see a progression from last year. And he actually played more games than Josh Allen did. Right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't really impressed with Sam Darnold. I don't know if as a fact is that the offensive line for the Jets is kind of new. It's a patchwork offensive line they just threw together. They really haven't had that much time together. They got Khalil, who hasn't taken that many snaps with Darnold. But the thing is that the Bills' defense was just putting a lot of pressure on this kid. They ended up with 4 sacks today, and he just couldn't get into a rhythm. Even with Le'Veon Bell in there, I mean, the Bills' defense held him to 60 yards on the ground. That's alone is a big feat for a defense to hold Le'Veon Bell down there. I mean, you definitely could tell he was a little rusty with taking a year off. But as far as Sam Darnold goes, I didn't really see him improve from the last year. I thought he was just meter curl. You know what I mean? I don't know. He didn't look like himself. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't putting a lot of zip on the balls. I'm not really impressed with him. You know what I mean?
I don't think we should really. I don't think we should set the bar of expectation for Sam Darnold just yet. I mean, it was just the first game. Managing Josh Allen put up the stat line that Darnold did today. We wouldn't sit here and say, well, I don't think Josh Allen didn't progress. No, we'll say that he played against a good defense, in which Sam Darnold did today. He played against a very good Bills defense.
No. Okay, listen. I'm not going to say that he didn't progress because he played against a good defense. There was things in this game that I did not see. Josh Allen had plenty of games like this last year.
You're right.
But,
I mean, I'll tell you right now, Josh Allen impressed me when he threw that one pass over the middle between two defenders. That thing was on a rope. That's when I was like, whoa. Right. And then the fact that he found John Brown a crossing when he had a linebacker on him, he led the guy. He threw a perfect pass. That pass was out in front of John Brown, and it was right there for him to run underneath and pick the ball up to grab extra yardage. That's the stuff that I look at Josh Allen as far as his development. But as far as Sam Darnold, I didn't see it.
Darnold had 3 opportunities to torch the Bills' defense today, and he whiffed on all 3 of them. He had the deep post pattern in the corner of the end zone to Robbie Anderson. He had a deep seam route to Robbie Anderson. And there was another play to Robbie Anderson that he underthrew the ball badly so that Levi Wallace could recover from the 10 yards of ground he lost to Robbie Anderson.
Well, let me ask you this.
You guys are saying about Darnold, but I'm not going to say that he isn't progressing just yet, just one game into his second year. What were you saying, Fred?
How many batted balls did he have down, though, too?
There was like 4 or 5 batted balls.
You know what I mean? And he's a big quarterback. There's really no reason for him to be having these batted balls down. You should be able to see your lane over top of your offensive lineman. But, yeah, he had like 3 or 4 batted balls down.
Well, in his defense, Allen had a few today, too. I think Allen had about 2 or 3 himself.
One had an interception.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, 2. One. You're right, 1, because the second one was off Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
I mean, Cole Beasley's another one today. I mean, we figured he would get the ball often early, and I think he was targeted 9 times. He ended up with 5 catches for 40 yards and 1 turnover. He should have caught that ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely on him. What do you think about the Cole Beasley performance today, Clayton? Did you get your money's worth for today? At least for fortune going forward.
I'm cautiously optimistic still about what Cole Beasley is going to bring. I hope to see more of that, but I think it's also very noteworthy that like 3 of those receptions came in the first drive alone, where this offense came out in a tempo and they were running with and they were just humming down the field. Josh Allen was completing every ball, and Cole Beasley was a big part of that. I just want to see more offense like that rather than the stagnant offense that they went over to after that first series. Cole Beasley looked really good today. I just want to see them get the ball to him more and more often. It was a very quiet day for both Zay Jones and Robert Foster today, though. That was very notable considering John Brown had 123 yards receiving, and Cole Beasley was very reliable underneath, especially on third downs. That's exactly what we're looking for. If we can get that all season, it can be a good year offensively.
Right. You know what? Hey, phone lines are open. We are going to take callers periodically, so I get ready to take a caller pretty soon here. Hey, so let's take one now. We'll take one now before we go on. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about the performance of Cole Beasley, Fred?
I actually thought he was what he advertised, during training camp for Josh Allen. He's that security blanket going to be underneath. I don't think we're going to take too many shots deep, but the one thing that stands out to me is that the Bills had 6 plays of 20 yards or longer, and the New York Jets had 0. So, I mean, they are taking some shots down the field. But I do like Cole Beasley. I like what he's going to do for the Bills. Like Clayton was saying, bringing him in there for these third downs is going to be key. Sustaining these drives, keeping the drives going. He's going to be a big factor in that. I do like these little short underneath routes that they run because you're going against linebackers. You know what I mean? So with Cole Beasley's speed, he can beat these linebackers. And we've seen that with John Brown as well, beating a linebacker when he picked up that one pass play from Josh Allen. So, I mean, I was impressed with those 2 guys today as far as our receivers,
All right. Hello. Who are we speaking to? You're on the line with the Cofer Report.
How are we doing, guys?
Good. How are you? Who are we speaking to?
Brian.
Okay, Brian, how are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Just excited about today's game.
Good. What are your thoughts on Josh Allen? I think we lost him. If Brian calls back, we'll get him back on the line. But phone lines are open. The number is 1-833-436-7626. We're taking callers throughout the show. Give us your opinion. Give us your thoughts. Even disagree. But yeah, I mean, guys. I mean, what an opening day. What an opening day. I mean, we could have asked for a better performance, but that Jets team was tough. I don't think they're a team to sleep on. And let's not minimize the loss of C.J. Mosley. That was a huge moment during this game, and it changed a lot of things up for that defense. You could tell the defense was not the same when he went out, and I don't know if we get a win if he stays in.
Right.
Fred?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, we already knew the Jets coming in. They were missing two of their starting linebackers, and then C.J. Mosley. I mean, this kid was all over the field. I mean, Roll Tide, Bama boy. And, he was all over the field. I seen him covering John Brown in the end zone. That's when he tweaked his hamstring. So, I agree. If Mosley is healthy, he stays in the game. I'm not sure if Bills pull out the W. But, I mean, there's nothing to take away from that Jets defense. They got Greg Williams in there, and everybody know that he's very creative. He's kind of a defensive guru, so to speak. I mean, and he's very aggressive. And I don't think he had the horses at the linebacker position. I think his front seven was suffering a little bit. But for the most part, this Jets team, they're going to improve. They're going to see a different team when they come up to Buffalo. It's definitely going to be a different team. This team is something to watch. So it is a good win. And you got to remember one thing. It's a division game. So pretty much these division games are like a flip of the coin, So you don't know, because you play each other so often, you know each other so well. You don't know the outcome of these games. Go either way.
Clay?
I mean, it was obvious when C.J. Mosley left the game. Before he left the game, the Bills' offense averaged 4.8 yards per play. And then once he left the game, they were averaging 10.3 yards per play, and they had 14 points. I think this is really – it's a good example of the differences in the kind of rebuilds that each team did this offseason. Because the Jets, they had a lot of big money contracts for top-end players and big fish in the free agent market. And then the Bills, they signed a bunch of players that were depth players or could be starters, rotational players, etc. And they really have a deep football team. Whereas if the Bills lose a linebacker, the defense isn't going to fall off the face of the earth like it did for the Jets today. Whereas the Jets, they gave all this money to C.J. Mosley. They gave a big contract to C.J. Mosley. They don't have very much or many quality players behind him in case of an injury like we saw today. And I think, honestly, I agree with you. If C.J. Mosley doesn't go down, I don't think we pull out a W today.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we did lose a key play. We lost Teron Johnson in the third quarter that most people didn't even pay attention to. And Kevin Johnson came in and we didn't even miss a beat. Actually, he made a really big play towards the end of that game. But we have Brian back on the line. Hey, Brian, what's going on now?
How's it going, guys?
Good. You got any questions?
I just wanted to say Josh did a better job in the second half. He stayed in the pocket. He showed a lot of poise.
Okay. What about John Brown? What do you think about the performance of John Brown? I think we lost Brian. All right, but Le'Veon Bell, I thought was going to be our biggest problem in this game. I still remember the 226 or 228 that he put up.
Yeah.
When last time we saw him in Pittsburgh, and it was ugly.
Yeah.
And I thought today we did a pretty good job of corralling him. He did get going in the passing game, but I think Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier definitely made an adjustment there, because for a while in the third quarter there, he's really killing us. They kept matching up with Matt Milano.
Yep.
And Matt really couldn't keep up with him outside, because what people don't realize is having Le'Veon Bell out there, that's like almost another receiver, which is why he led to the holdout in Pittsburgh in the first place. So he was having a pretty good game, but it seems like after that one drive, they made a huge adjustment, and he didn't get anything else for the rest of the game. Actually, nobody on that offense got anything else for the rest of the game. Nope. Especially Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson has been a thorn in the Bills' side for at least the last 2 years. I mean, that guy is fast. I would love to see a foot race between him and John Brown. And speaking of John Brown, just wow. What a game. Speed kills, right? Clayton, what do you got on the performance of my man John Brown today?
John Brown was my player of the game today. I mean, I'd like to say it was Devin Singletary, but it was John Brown because John Brown was consistent from quarter one to quarter four. He was the go-to threat for Josh Allen today. When he wasn't going to Cole Beasley, he was going to John Brown, and he should. John Brown looked absolutely incredible today. That one touchdown he had, the 38-yard touchdown, where he and Allen showed a great amount of chemistry, where Allen underthrows the ball on purpose so that John can come back and make a play on it. He had the most receiving yards in a debut by a Bills player in history, and he was on fire today, and I don't think the Bills nearly would have looked as good on offense as they did without John Brown's performance today. I liked him a lot, and I hope to see more of it in the future.
Fred?
Yeah, I was impressed with John Brown. I mean, I think this is what he needed. This is going to help spark his career as well. Him and Josh Allen do look like they have some chemistry there. Josh, actually, I like the fact is that Josh was surveying the field and he was able to catch John Brown a couple times wide open and make those throws to him. So, yeah, it's good. I'm glad John's here. We talked about it last year. The team was lacking some speed. Now we got some speed, some veterans presence on this team as far as the receivers go. And it's going to really help improve Josh Allen in the passing. And I'll tell you, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I don't know if anybody else was, but we came out just slinging the ball right from the get-go. And it kind of like I was confused by this. I didn't understand why we were doing it. I know they had 8 in the box trying to stop the run, but we weren't even attempting to try to run. But, yeah, I mean, John Brown, yeah, he's definitely going to be an asset, and he's probably going to be one to watch throughout the season.
Well, like I said, when you have an offense and you have Cole Beasley operating in the middle, and you have John Brown opposite side, and like I said, you're not going to keep up with John Brown. Not too many players in this league are going to keep up with John Brown. We're going to be realistic about it, especially crossing routes. And they hit him on a couple crossing routes today, and you could tell they had Tremaine. First of all, they had Tremaine Johnson on him, who didn't play last season and played 3 snaps in all of preseason. If you think you're going to put that guy on the field with 3 snaps, he's going to keep up with all-world speed and John Brown, good luck. That's how you get to 123 receiving yards in a game. All right? But the biggest thing is you had him coming underneath across the field. You had somebody going across. They didn't really set the picks like they were supposed to, but they didn't really need to either. Those are easy throws for your quarterback. Yeah. That's as wide open as they're gonna get. And if that's gonna be the formula all season, I'm totally with it. Now I do agree with you, Fred. I think we should have ran the ball a little bit more in the beginning of the game. I was also surprised not to see TJ Yeldon hit the field because Frank Gore was really struggling. He really kind of showed his age a little bit today, I thought. And I just hope this is not another situation where, and I'm not going to call Frank Gore Mike Tolbert, but you know what I'm getting at.
Right.
Whereas the other year they were just reluctant to just stop running the ball with Tolbert, and it just wasn't effective. I don't think Gore should be your starting back. If you want to keep Singletary as your split time back or your second back, that's fine. But maybe you should start Yeldon and have Singletary and Gore split time behind. I don't know. I thought the running game could have been more effective at the beginning, and especially they were putting 8 in the box at the beginning of the game a lot. We
were making passes to DeMarco. We threw the ball to DeMarco a couple.
I know Clayton. You know what? Since we're in DeMarco, I'm gonna go to DeMarco for Clayton because I know Clayton had something to say about that.
Yeah, it was just confusing me. Like, I wasn't sure if it was the play calling or just the personnel groupings as a whole. But JT and I were talking in the group chat today. We didn't see Robert Foster hardly at all, and I realized I'm like, well, maybe that has something to do with your fullback trying to play H-back or tight end running routes at receiver. See, last year I thought we see whenever we went to a spread offense, we would see Pat DeMarco out there split out as a receiver, more or less because we didn't have any depth at the receiver position or tight end position. I thought that was the reasoning for it, but now we're rolling out. We spent $55 million in the offseason, and we still have the same personnel groupings as we did last year. It was just mind-boggling to me why you have your fullback running routes on offense. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to get more involved, but I'd rather have Robert Foster or Zay Jones running routes than our fullback. In all honesty,
I agree absolutely. Yeah, and you know what I did notice that we did do a lot. A couple times we had 2 tight end sets out there too. We were running it in the second half. I don't know why we didn't do something like that the first half. You know what I mean? You have to loosen up that defense, and the only way you can do that is if you loosen up. I know that a lot of times people say you run the ball to open up the passing game. But now the new age thing with the NFL is that you pass the ball to open up the running game. So,
right.
But I'm like you say, DeMarco, I mean, it was kind of odd seeing him out there to pick up a couple of those passes in the flats. But
Right. We have another caller on line. Who we on the line with? Ron, how you doing? Ron Renix, huh? How you doing? Long time watcher.
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Well, wasn't too impressed with today's game, and if anything, I hear a lot of people talking about the mistakes that Allen made, this, that, and the other. But in all honesty, I put that on Dable.
Yeah, really. What do you think the problem is with Brian Dable?
Listen, he did great. The first, two possessions they went out on, they did great. After that, it's like, I think he forgot we had a running back room. And he's got to mix it up. He's got to, get some passing and running in there. Look at Singletary. He did great tonight. I was thoroughly impressed with him.
No, definitely. Hey, I definitely agree. Do you think that he'll change it up next game?
I think if he don't, I think he's going to be looking for another job.
Hey, well, you know me. I've already said a long time ago, Ken Dorsey is in the wings, and I think he's going to be on a short leash, especially with this type of team.
Yeah, he needs to be. He really does. I mean, I remember last season, I think we all remember Dable walking around the sidelines when he was down there with freaking scrap paper.
Oh, yeah, the scrap paper.
he brought up the scrap paper.
Scrap gate. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but Ron.
Scrap paper Dable.
Yeah, scrap paper Dable. Hey, hopefully he changes up next week. Thanks for calling. Thanks for supporting us. Don't forget that the phone lines are open. That's going to be 1-833-436-7626. Please call in, give your opinion. But, yeah, I mean, I got to agree. I have to agree with Ron. He was right on that. I mean,
Yep.
we didn't go to the run at all in the beginning game. And then once Gore was ineffective, you got two more backs. He said the other day we have confidence in all three backs. Today, It didn't seem like they had confidence in all three backs until Singletary started running wild against the Jets defense.
Right.
Fred, I mean, what did you see from Singletary today?
Devin Singletary, man, I mean, what can I say about this kid? I mean, I was really impressed with him. I mean, when we finally did give him the ball in the second half of the game, and we had 98 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he was catching the ball, he was running the ball. I was really impressed with this kid. And we talked, and I don't know why they didn't start this kid. He's already proven that he can hit the holes. He can already make those juke moves. I noticed that he's quick. He runs low center of gravity. He's low to the ground, and he's fast. I want to see this kid punch it in, though. He needs to get his first touchdown of the season. I thought it was going to be today. I mean, he got one in preseason, but regular season's where they count. But I was really impressed. He's my player of the game just because of the fact that he's a rookie. He came in there, and he wasn't afraid. He was busting through the lines. They got to start playing this kid. You know, he proved that he can handle the load. Let's give the ball to this kid.
Right. Well, you know what? I mean, nothing is too. If you guys have any questions in the chat, please leave them in the chat. We will get to those as well. If you don't want to call in, some people are phone shy, if that could be a thing. But, hey, don't forget that the Cold Front Report is brought to you by Cold Socks. And do not forget that on the September 20th, at Soho Bar in Buffalo, we are having the Mafia Homecoming Party with Stevie Johnson, Marcus Easley, Donald Jones, all your favorite super fans. Bill Dad did the crowd, John L. Bills over John Lane, the Buffalo Chefs, and so many more. You are not going to miss this event. It's going to be epic. And can you imagine what this event is going to be like if the Bills go 2-0? That place is going to be jumping. There's going to be all type of capacity issues. Tickets are going fast. So make sure you get yours. You are not going to miss it. This is going to be epic, and I think the Bills are going to be 2-0. I'm not going to give you my prediction for next week, but I just did sort of. But I think they are going to be 2-0, and this party is going to be jumping. Mafia Homecoming Weekend, you're not going to miss it. Friday, September 20th at Soho Bar. And since the Bills won, we're going to be nice, and we're going to give you a promo code to use. The tickets are at ticketleap.com. Ticketleap.com. Search hashtag Mafia. If you type in the coupon code COLDFRONT, you will get $10 off. So we're giving you a gift since the Bills won, because when the Bills won, we get happy. Fred puts on a bucket hat, and we give you money off free cool things. So but no, guys. I mean, I think that I think this team has something. I really, really do. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the defense yet.
No. I mean, this is just the offense that we're talking about. Yeah, the defense, that's a whole different thing. I mean, you look at this defense, and the thing is that it wasn't not just one person that stood up and made plays today. There was a ton of the players on this defense that were making plays. Shaq Lawson would have sacked. Poyer would have sacked. I mean, even Alexander would have sacked. I mean, everybody was – Milano was making tackles. Tremaine Edmonds was making tackles. Levi Wallace was making – everybody. There's a hand of different players on this defense. It's not just one player. And that's what's nice, is that you got everybody on the defense involved in making tackles. Everybody's involved. And they were really getting after Sam Darnold today. And it didn't seem like we were blitzing a heck of a lot. I just think that we were just rushing so hard off the edge. And what I did notice is that I think it was Matt Perino that was on the show with us, and he had talked to us about Shaq Lawson.
Yep.
That the fact that they moved him on the right side to back up Jerry Hughes, I'm telling you, that kid was coming off the edge hard on that right side when he was filling in for Jerry Hughes. Maybe that's where the kid belongs. Maybe he belongs on the right side. But he was impressive today, and so was Trent Murphy. Again, he was making plays as well. So hats off to that defense.
Well, going back to Matt Perino, we had him on the show, he did say that Shaq was never in the competition for that left end starting job, that they were moving back to right end where he was comfortable. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, it showed today why they did that, because he seemed more comfortable and he was actually a lot faster off the edge in that right end.
Yep.
And he was generating pressure. I mean, we didn't even get to Ed Oliver. We will get to the man, the myth, the guy Ed Oliver. But Clayton, I mean, what did you see out of our defense today?
It looked ferocious. I mean, I said numerous times throughout the offseason that if the Bills' defense was going to take that step from being just the defense that's quietly at the top end of the league, if they were going to take that step and be a defense like the Bears or like these defense that are spoke of as most feared in the league, they're going to have some sort of resemblance of a pass rush. And they had a great pass rush today. They were getting after Sam Darnold with consistency, whether they were sending extra guys or not. Ed Oliver looked great rushing up the middle. Jerry Hughes was quick off the edge. Trent Murphy, he's looking to have a resurgent season. I doubted it for most of the offseason, but he looks quick and he looks good off the edge. Shaq Lawson, I don't want to say least for players, one of the players I've had a pet peeve with last handful of seasons. He looked really good today. He had a couple hustle plays, and he looked good as a run defender today as well. I really liked what we saw from the defense today. I mean, the pass coverage, that's just come to be expected with the Bills defense. And then the pass rush to go with it, it looked really good today.
No, I agree. Shaq Lawson really impressed me today. And I was ecstatic for this young man, because, like I said, Shaq Lawson works really hard. He really does. And I think he came to Buffalo with a little bit more hype than he should have, which wasn't necessarily his fault. And he came into a situation where this team was thought to be taking that next step, so everything was elevated. So obviously he came in with really high expectations. I don't even know if Ed Oliver came in with as high as expectations as people put on Shaq Lawson when he first came in, and I think that would be a legit question.
Right.
But I mean, speaking of Ed Oliver, jeez, you can see the difference in having Ed Oliver in there. You can see the difference. That man pushed the pocket left and right. He shifted Donald. He shifted everything during the Jets passing game, and that's going to be a big problem. Clayton, what did you see out of our man Ed Oliver?
Ed Oliver, yeah. I mean, I've been saying it for years that three technique defensive or interior defensive lineman position is such a dynamic spot where you can have such a game-changing player in that position. He could really affect every phase of the defense. And we saw that today with Ed Oliver. He was going up against, I mean, I call them two old washed up players, and Ryan Khalil rather, and Kalichi Alcantara. I think they're old and washed up. And then Ryan
Weird ones.
He looked great today.
Yeah.
I love what I saw from Oliver today. He's going to have a bigger task at hand next week going up against Kevin Ziegler and Will Hernandez, but certainly a good debut for Ed Oliver. He has to get that sack, though. He whiffed on that sack. He could have had a clean sack on Darnold late in the third quarter, but he's got to clean that up. Other than that, it was a really good game for Ed Oliver.
Yeah.
I thought he had that sack, man. I really did. I was rooting for the kid to get it. I mean, he pushed the pocket all day. And even at times when Starler Tooley was in the game and Tooley really didn't move anything, Ed Oliver was able to really push the pocket on his own. Boy, I thought the lethal combo was Ed Oliver combined with Harrison Phillips and Ed Oliver combined with Jordan Phillips. Especially him and Jordan. They were wrecking things.
Yep.
They were wrecking things. And another good combo I saw today, too, was actually Starler Tooley and Harrison Phillips rotation was not a bad rotation either. Daryl Johnson, they seemed to put him in for a few snaps. He didn't seem to be too effective, and they pulled him out quick. But speaking of one player that was pulled out quick today, Cody Ford.
Yeah.
And Clayton has been saying this is preseason. Don't put this kid at right tackle. He's not a right tackle. He's a right guard. They put him in there, and what did you see?
It was almost like they were situationally rotating him in at right tackle. Like, I have never seen that before. You see players rotated in at running back or receiver. You never see offensive linemen rotated in and out unless they're the sixth offensive lineman. They were rotating in Ty and Secchi at right tackle during passing situations. You saw it on the Bills' last drive, actually. Ty and Secchi had a false start penalty on that last drive where we scored the touchdown to go up. He had that false start penalty. I mean, I noticed they were rotating him in right at the start or right before the second half or the first half ended, rather. But I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why they don't just what their fixation is with having John Feliciano on the field. I wasn't impressed by anything he showed me today. I think that's really where the holdup comes in. Is they want John Feliciano on the field. I don't think he really adds anything where compared to if you had Cody Ford at right guard and Ty and Secchi at right tackle. I think that's the best offensive line ultimately, but they're playing around by rotating him in situationally. And if that's what they choose to do, you're playing with your franchise quarterback's health back there, and you did it enough last season. I don't think you should do it this year anymore. I think you should just put the best five out there. Go with it.
Jason Jackman said in the chat, Coach said
Ford was being rotated
to get him some watching time. Now, I've never heard of that before at offensive line because, I mean, offensive line, defensive line, offensive line specifically, that's a rhythm thing. That's a rhythm thing. You have to get your rhythm. I've never heard of that before. And if that's what they're doing, God help us all. Because I gotta feel that if you do that, you're gonna stunt this kid's growth. And that's the last thing I would hate to see.
Unless they're trying to figure out a position where they want to keep the kid. They want to try him at tackle. They want to kick him inside at guard. We all feel he should be playing guard.
If you're unsure of him at tackle, then you just need to put him at guard and call it a day. Now, I disagree with the John Feliciano. I don't think he did have a couple boneheaded plays. But what I did like about John Feliciano was his nastiness.
Yes.
I like that toughness. We haven't had that toughness in a while. And I really like that. It'd be hard for me to pull off the field if I was a coach, too. I mean, I like somebody that's going to punch somebody in the mouth.
He went protected.
His nastiness cost us 3 points.
That's okay.
Yeah, he was protecting his quarterback, though. You had Mosley on top of Josh Allen with his finger in his face, and he came in there, and you're going to have that.
This dude's
3 points.
Professional career, and he still doesn't know that the second man is the one that gets caught.
But sometimes you got to be the one that get caught. You got to be the one that get caught sometimes.
Sometimes, guess what? I'm not going to lie. A lot of times these offensive linemen, they don't get a lot of the praise and everything, like the quarterback. So when they go do something like this, their team's pumped up. You're protecting your quarterback. That's what teammates do for each other. So I have no problem with that. I mean, if it was a bonehead play where they're jawing with each other, just to jaw, but he had a legitimate reason to go after Mosley when he was on top of his young quarterback with his finger in his face. I don't think Feliciano played bad at all today, to be honest with you. I was really impressed with some of these offensive linemen, and one that did stand out to me was Mitch Morris. I like the fact that he was pulling. They had him pull on that 3rd and 2 with Josh Allen booted to the left. He was the lead blocker for Josh Allen. That was a great play.
Yeah, I saw him pull too, and I was actually pretty excited for him pulling, but I actually got kind of nervous that he didn't hit his head or something. I'm being honest, man. I'm not joking.
I know.
I'm being serious. I got worried. I'm like, geez, I hope this guy doesn't hit his head.
PT's ready to go get Mark Kelsel's helmet, run it out to him.
This is a $44 million investment, and with the new CBA,
yeah,
This is a cap penalty now. This is no retirement. This is not no Aaron Schobel $56 million just coming off the book because he retires. We're eating this. So yeah, you're right. You give him a double, triple helmet if you have to. I don't care.
Well, they only had one miscue amongst themselves, and that was on that one fumble when it was 4th and 1.
Yeah.
But he also, you got to take your end. I mean, was it Quinnen Williams came right up there and just knocked. As soon as he jumped the snap count and he just pushed Mitch Morris right into Josh, he couldn't even get the ball in his hand. So that was a great defensive play, by the way. Having your nose guard blow up your center like that on ball movement, that was a great defensive play.
No, I agree. I mean, like I said, that Morse thing, this is what Clayton was talking about this week, was about Ryan Khalil too. Mitch Morris and Ryan Khalil, neither center really took snaps during the preseason from their quarterback. And there was going to be some rustiness with that. And I think that he was right on with that. And I think that's kind of what happened on that snap. That was a situation because they were in shotgun for most of the game.
They could have changed the snap count up. I actually thought they were going to because I seen where he was lined up. And sure enough, I mean, it was just bad timing that was a fumble. So, I mean, like I said, that was another turnover in the game. But, I mean, it was kind of sloppy play, but this is, you got to remember, it's the first game in the NFL. You know, everybody's still rusty. They're coming off from preseason where they're playing a quarter here or 5 minutes here. You know, you still got to get – most of the time you can't dictate what a team's going to look like until they played 4 games of the regular season. Then you kind of can tell where the team direction is going, what type of team you have, what kind of identity this team has. So, plus it's a division game. But, I mean, it was great to see. There was a lot of positive. Even though there was a lot of negatives in the first half of the game, there was also a lot of positive. And you got to remember, we still have a young team here. You look across the board on defense, offense, special teams, we're young all the way across the board. And the thing is that this team, they're buying into what McDermott is telling them. They're buying into the system. They're trusting the process because guess what? They're not buying into those 17 years of the drought and all that stuff. They're making their own identity now for themselves.
No, I agree. I don't know. I just don't want to see them playing around with the offensive line.
I think they're still trying to find that combination because Mitch Morris wasn't there.
I'm sorry, you can't be at this point.
2 months.
Mm-hmm.
You had 2 months. You're still trying to find the combination. That's bad coaching. I don't care how you cut it up. That's bad coaching.
We didn't see Spencer Long in there at all today either, right?
Nope.
No, for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's for a reason he wasn't in there. We know what Spencer Long brings to the table. What Spencer Long brings to the table, he's a versatile lineman. He played center and 2 guard spots, and he's a good backup. In case
you think they're trying to make Ford versatile like that too? Maybe they're trying to see if they have that in him.
They're being stubborn.
Yeah.
They're trying to force him to be a right tackle because they want him to be a right tackle. Okay? It's very similar to the Deion Dawkins situation. Not saying that Deion's not going to pan out to be a left tackle, but he didn't exactly look like a stud out there today.
Nope.
Today, Deion Dawkins? No, Deion had a couple mistakes too.
He looked better than he did last year, but he wasn't a stud. And that stubbornness of trying to force him to play left tackle.
That first fumble was because that Deion Dawkins got blown up.
I was just about to say
Came
that.
right off that edge.
Jordan Jenkins. That's not a world-beaten edge rusher right there, but it was.
No, and that's the thing is the Jets coming in. Jets didn't have any edge rushers. You guys know that, right? No. But for him to come off the edge against Deion Dawkins, the Jets were probably going, whoa, look what we got.
Well, their strength is along the interior of that defense.
Absolutely.
That's how they're going to open up those edge rushers.
Yep. Pushing the pile. That's where our Ed Oliver comes in. And our Jordan Phillips. That's where they come in. Push the pile, you help your edge rush. Maybe that was the difference with Shaq Lawson and Trent Murphy getting off the edges today too. Because of our middle was pushing the pile up the gut. Because if you noticed, Darnold could not step up in the pocket. Every time Darnold tried to step up in the pocket, he was getting sacked.
No, and that was one of the biggest things that I saw from last year was we didn't collapse a pocket. Every quarterback seemed like they had a very clean pocket all last year for quarters at a time. I didn't see too many clean pockets today at all.
No, there was a couple stunts that I liked. I seen the one with Alexander coming off. That was a nice stunt that they ran. They finally got a little bit of aggressiveness, threw some stunts in there. Most of it is gap responsibility. Know where your gaps are.
Right, and another thing is they went back to the Lorenzo Alexander formation that we first saw in the Vikings game last year, where they lined him over in the gap between the center and the guard, and have them rush from that point in a stand-up position. They did that. It didn't generate too much pressure today because I think teams have seen enough film on it to prepare for it. But there was a lot of different variations. This was not – last year the word that we used for this defense was vanilla.
Yep.
Vanilla.
Basic.
There was not a lot of vanilla today. There was a lot of variations.
Today it was exotic.
Go ahead, Clay.
It was exotic today. That's what I was saying. Sorry.
Yeah.
You say exotic? I'm waiting for the NASCAR package.
They showed that a lot today, actually.
Yeah, we got
those blitzes where they were sending everybody at the line of scrimmage and getting in Darnold's face. They swatted 3 or 4 balls like that today on third downs.
Yeah, those stunts.
That's one thing I liked. We were coached today to get our hands up. So I don't know if it's something that they saw on film or Leslie Frazier, those guys saw. But they were getting their hands up, constantly. You see it every once in a while. But we didn't see too many batted balls last year.
Not like today.
No.
Today, that's why I said. But is it our players or is it just Darnold, just trying to get rid of the ball? Just, you know what I mean? Throwing. Who does it well? I think it's Drew Brees because Drew Brees is only, 6 foot? Yep. Drew Brees will make that one step. So he has that passing lane. I didn't see that from Darnold. You know what I mean? He wasn't making just a little bit to get that passing lane. He was standing just firing, even with the defender right in his face.
Right. I honestly think that it was coaching. I think that they saw something in the film that Darnold gets to the ball. They told his players, "Hey, get your hands up," because they were intentionally doing it. They were engaging, stopping, and then jumping. So they knew it was getting. Like I said, I'm not impressed by Darnold. And if this is the way you're going to build him, this is the same way that the Jets tried to build Mark Sanchez. We're going to put a whole bunch of money. We're going to go to free agency. We're going to spend a whole bunch of money. We're going to make a whole bunch of trades, and we're going to make this guy be a quarterback. And that's
the thing the Bills didn't do. They didn't go out and hit the lottery on free agency. I mean, they built to add depth. They brought in players. They paid some money, but they didn't overspend. And you can see the difference in our roster compared to their roster.
Right. And like I said, the biggest thing today is the Jets gave us some bulletin board material. I mean, they ran their mouths. And they said that they were going to make Josh Allen be a quarterback because they feel he could do it. Well, your quarterback threw for 155 yards. Mm-hmm. So how's that? We came into your house on opening day with all the 85 inch you spent. We punched you in your mouth. So now maybe next time you'll keep it shut.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like that Josh Allen out threw Sam Darnold by 150.
And you know who I was missing?
100 yards.
You know, I was missing is Andre Roberts. I really was anxious to see how he was going to come out, and I know he's disappointed that he didn't get an opportunity to play against the Jets in New York. I know he's probably disappointed, but I was very anxious to see what – and I think our special teams did all right. I don't think they set the world on fire today, but they were all right. I still don't like Micah Hyde being back there, but I mean –
For the love of God, please get him off of there, dude. Like, it's just you're gonna get him hurt. It's no point in this anymore. Like, I don't know why you keep putting him back there. You have Isaiah McKenzie, use him. I mean, and he's more of a home run hitter than Mike Hyde. I get it's the safety blanket, but if the guy's gonna go back there just to fair catch the ball, well, never mind. McKenzie dropped a couple balls last year. But
our special teams look good. Cyron Neal on special teams, he looked good.
Cyron Neal looked good. Period.
Yeah, he really did. I was impressed with the kid.
When Teron Johnson had to come out. And then I
didn't hear what he said.
I didn't hear what he said either. But a few notes on injuries. Teron Johnson, our cold front correspondent, Pat Freeman, did catch up with Teron Johnson after the game in the Bills locker room, and he did tell him that he is healthy. He just tweaked his hamstring, so he should be good to go for week 2. Cyron Neal did come in for him. He played a good game. No injuries to Cody Ford or Ty Nseki. They just rotate him in. I think that was pretty much it on the injury front. We'll see if anything pops up tomorrow, because a lot of times bruises and lumps and bruises pop up on Monday morning. You don't even know you have them.
Right.
I mean, other than that, man, I mean, it was a great game. It was a great game.
It was one of those Hardy-act Bills, so to speak. I mean, it's one of those games where, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen from the next play to the next. You know you're still in the game, and you're waiting to get over top of that, and then all of a sudden something else happens. You're like, come on. But at the same time, the Jets were not doing anything special. They pretty much were giving us the game, and we kept giving it back to them. And then we finally just said, you know what, let's just take this. This is our win. Let's get the W and get out of here. So, I mean, Jets had a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, The Bills stayed focused. They continued with the game plan. Defense continued playing hard, and we ended up getting the W. So, I mean, it was a great game. I mean, for the home opener, or I'm not the home opener for the first game of the season, week 1 against the division foe, it was really a great game.
Yeah. So we guys already gave your game balls out, but we'll still go around the horn. Clayton, who are you giving your game ball today? And if you're watching, please put who you're giving your game ball to in the chat so play along with us.
Devin Singletary. I mean, it's impressive when a rookie comes in there and his first 2 carries go for 20 yards plus. That being said, his first carry didn't come until the 4th quarter. I want to see him be more involved next week in the offense. That's not on him. It's on the coach. I want to see him be more involved from quarter 1 to quarter 4 next week. I think he is a gem. I think the Bills got a gem on the offensive side of the ball. He's dynamic. He was electric with the ball in his hands today. He gets my game ball. I look forward to seeing what we can put out next week. It was a great win today. I look forward to playing the Giants next week. Hopefully we can sit here next week talking about being 2-2 or 2-0.
Oh, slow down there, Cowboy. Slow down.
That could happen.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred. Who you giving your game ball to?
Well, I thought it was Devin, but I guess I'll have to go with John Brown. 7 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. He looked like he's definitely on the same page as Josh Allen. Josh Allen's definitely finding him down the seam and down the field. So, yeah, my game ball goes to John Brown.
All right. I think John Brown had one hell of a day. That's especially a great debut. I think this is probably his first chance at ever being a number 1 receiver because I think on the Wide Receivers podcast show of the week, Stevie Johnson mentioned that he just never really had the opportunity to be a number 1 in Arizona because he did play with, I think, Anquan Boldin and Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, he had Larry Fitzgerald down there too.
Yeah. So he's always been up. But I mean, this is his opportunity. I mean, we paid him a good portion of money, and we knew we wanted him 2 years in a row. So there's a reason that this coaching staff did want him. I mean, he definitely showed out today. So congrats to him. I'm gonna give my game ball to Jordan Poyer. I thought that Jordan Poyer and this Bills defense really stepped up and did what they had to do today. There's no doubt about it that without this defense, that we lose this game.
Yep.
Because there were so many opportunities, all the turnovers that we could have been down. We could have been down a lot. We could have been talking about, hey, are we confident in this team going into this Giant game next week? Rather than, hey, we're 1-0. Do you think we can go ahead and go 2-0? So I hats off to Jordan Poyer and the rest of this Bills defense because I mean, well of a game. This is what they do, and this is why I think they're a top 3 unit in the league this year. No doubt in my mind. But Fred, there's something that you want to bring up about the Red Cross today. Yeah,
you guys everybody knows that we had the hurricane down there in the Bahamas and everything, and a lot of these people down there, they lost a lot of their houses. Everybody got wiped out down there. So what I was saying is that the Red Cross is looking for looking for donations, everything. If you want to help the people affected by Hurricane Dorian by visiting redcross.org or text Dorian to 90999. So just send a donation or something, help the people out, help Red Cross. The Bahamas got wiped out. A lot of people, I seen it on the news. People were crying and everything. Homes just wiped right out. So like I said, go on redcross.org or text Dorian to 90999. Make a donation.
Clayton, final thoughts?
I'm glad to come out of week 1 with a victory. It was obviously in the balance a little bit. There was about 3.5 quarters of ugly football. I did not think we were going to win after those 3.5 quarters, but to come away with a win, it's good. It's always good nonetheless. Keep on the lookout for the Overtime podcast presented by the Cold Front Report. We release episodes every Wednesday. Pretty much anywhere you can find your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. The releases are Wednesday mornings, weekly.
All right. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, Fred, any final thoughts on this game this week?
Hey, I know it was ugly. I mean, I know everybody was probably slamming beers before halftime because of the game, but guess what? We just beat a division foe. I don't care what the score was. We beat them. We're 1-0 in our division right now, so go celebrate. Enjoy the win.
Definitely. Final thoughts for me is that, hey, football's back. It was. As I said, it wasn't a pretty first game, but it's a win. I think Josh Allen showed off his major leadership skills. I think that's one of the most underrated things about this guy. But the rest of the league's going to find out. What we already know is that he's a bona fide leader. I thought he was more accurate today. And, I mean, definitely between him and Lamar Jackson, out of that quarterback class, there are only two that are looking good in my opinion. So, and those are the two that were on the bottom out of the top four, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yes, sir.
hey, work off the field pays dividends. You can't build a team around somebody and make somebody good. They have to do it. At some point, you're going to depend on that guy. If you do it that way, and they're not going to come through like Sam Darnold did today. Like the Jets said, they wanted to make him a quarterback. Well, he threw for 254 yards, Sonny, and you have your first ever season. Congratulations, and we'll see you down the line. We are DONE. We are done, and I will catch you later. Oh, matter of fact, Tuesday, turning to the Why So Serious podcast with Stevie Johnson, Down Jones, Mike DeFredo, and yours truly. We're going to be talking about other things and breaking this down as well from a professional standpoint. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good night. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Code from the point.